Congratulations on the victory here tonight. You earned that one. Congrats. Keep it going here, Brian. Thank you, man. We got a tough one tomorrow.
You hear the song, the Orlando Magic, their first home win in a month. Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, the third time this season they both scored over 30 in the same game. And Franz Wagner, 20 points in his second half, 11 coming in the fourth quarter. The Magic, 2 wins this season against the Los Angeles Lakers. Welcome to Game Time, presented by Kia. Chris Miles, Isiah Thomas, Channing Frye here with you. And Zeke, it was in that third quarter where the Magic outscored the Lakers by 14 points to take hold of this game, never gave it back.
You know, at the half, we said we thought the three-point shooting would come into play. And I thought Orlando did a good job, not only in the third quarter, but also in the fourth quarter in closing out the game. But I thought the three-point shooting was the difference.
Yeah, 20 fast break points is something that they were able to do from the onset and through the conclusion of this one.
Yeah, you heard Franz say that right now. They felt like this is their pace of the game, and they kept them off the line. I know 28 free throws is a lot, but I think the Lakers lead the league in free throws by a lot. Then I'm looking, and to me, just the way that the Lakers are playing defense, you can't just let a dude, even if he's not a good shooter, size the ball up. You got to contest and just know his first option is to drive and play that. I thought they were just giving him wide open shots. These are NBA players. I know they're not the best three-point shooters, but if a guy makes, and we talked about this, if you make a free throw, a couple layups, man, that rim looks like the ocean. And then I thought the Lakers, just to get in, all my thoughts, I just thought they don't move on offense anymore. I thought there's no movement. I didn't think there was no passing. I thought Austin Reeves and Luka and Bron, they pass to each other, right? But there's no one else is getting Jays up. No one else is getting a feel. So how do you get your bench going? So for me, one other thing is 20 assists in an NBA game nowadays. You ain't winning like that. That means a lot of one-on-one where you'd say this matchup worked. And against Orlando, they did an absolutely great job of locking down those lanes, making things difficult for the Lakers, and just taking advantage of their size and their athleticism and their youth.
Zeke, you know, we often talk about, and you really talk about this a lot, guys that can give you 30 on any given night, right? There's a lot of guys in the league. And then there are players that you can rely on to give you 30. For Paolo Banchero, 13th straight game over 20. He had 30 tonight, averaging 31 over the last 13 games. It seems like he's been a really good player for a while, but he's becoming that kind of player for Orlando.
Yeah, his points and his aggressiveness in terms of getting to the paint, not only getting to the paint, but finishing around the rim. And then when his three-point shot kicks in, you know, he's a load to guard. And, you know, the way that he approaches the game every single night, the intensity that he brings, he shows up and he gives great maximum effort every night. And it gives Orlando a chance to win.
I mean, Shannon, you were telling us about when you see Paolo Banchero, his size, he took more free throw attempts than Luka Doncic, and he was 10 for 12 from the charity stripe. But that's a real advantage that because he seems like a perimeter player, that you realize, like, oh, he has that advantage every night.
I mean, think about this. Somebody my height, way better shape, running at you like a rhinoceros. The dude is imposing. If you're not willing to look him in the eye and say no more, he's going to continually get to his spots over and over and over again. And what I love about him is that he came out this season and he was balling. I think he got hurt after that 50-point game, you know, his oblique. And then he went back. And then I thought he had worked on his jumper because he started shooting it a little bit more. I said, but that's not who you are, but I'm glad you added that. Now he's got back to saying, for us to win, we need to play defense first. We need to attack the rim. And then once this opens up and I soften up that paint, now we can start to shoot these threes and have that spacing. But this is the identity of the Orlando Magic, is to just punch you and punch you and punch you and break you until you're like, well, I don't want to pass the ball 7-8 times on every possession.
There's something else that Channing pointed out right at the tip. And he was like, okay, Corey Joseph in the starting lineup. He's like, but Anthony Black is going to play the lion's share of minutes at that position. So Zeke, 17 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 for 5 from 3, 7 for 10 from the field. Why would Jamal Mosley choose to use a player essentially like a starter coming off the bench? Because clearly that worked out.
Because it gives the coach a chance to not only assess the first 5 minutes of the game, but then when you bring Black in, you can say, okay, this is what we need now. We need size here. We need defensive ability here. We need stops. So Black gives them a different kind of look. Not only does he give them a different kind of look, but the intensity and the length that they play with out on the perimeter, they're able to get stops, they're able to get deflections, and then they're able to get out into the fast break and get transition.
Well, listen, there's not enough shots in that first unit. That's for Franz and Paolo to get off of Wendell Carter. So you don't start him because he's, number one, used to coming off the bench, and two, they're running a whole different package of plays when he comes off the bench to get him going. So you put Corey Joseph out there. Listen, brother, I just need you to run up and down. Don't mess this up. You're neither going to win us this game or lose.
Corey hit a couple of big threes,
He did,
too.
he did.
Yeah.
But I'm saying Corey wasn't going to win or lose his game.
Right.
You're a placeholder because you're a pro. Corey Joseph is a pro. So whether he scored or didn't score, he's always going to be in the right spot. He's going to compete. And then when Anthony Black comes in, now everyone's in their same rhythm because now he's probably used to seeing the game. And then he goes, okay, when I come in at the 6-minute mark or 5-minute mark, here's my package of plays, and everyone knows now it's Anthony Black's turn to control and take the game because either Franz or Paolo's out. So that happened to me. That happened to guys like Lou Will. So, I love what they did.
Yeah, gotta love what Franz Wagner did, leading all scorers, tied with this. Like, they've been really good defensively, but their last 3 or 4 games, not so much. Do you think teams are starting to figure out, okay, this is what J.J. Redick is going to do with this group. This is how we attack that. Or is it just a streak of teams being hot against the Lakers?
I think it's a couple of things. One, it's like, what is our identity and what pace of the game can we play at? When the Lakers don't turn the ball over, they're very tough because they have 2 of the best ball, game commanders in the league, right? As you see there. 2, when they are locked in and everyone is healthy, they can actually cover up a lot of holes that maybe Luka is still trying to figure out why. 3, they got to know their pace of play. When they lost, they were averaging 123 points, and when they won, this is over the last 12. I did math. When they won, it was 106. So if you're playing with 2 of the best game controllers, you want to do a possession game because you're going to trust Luka's going to score, but I can't give you an opportunity to score. But you can't get in when you turn it over or when they start running, that's not his forte. So are they more built for the playoffs? I think that's 50-50 because of their size or what they lack. But when you got Bron and Luka and what Austin Reeves has been doing, that's a clear. And I know JJ is extremely, I would say, psychotic and obsessed like that. They're going to find ways. They have to find ways to get Luka in defensive shape, but also hide him at times.
Yeah.
Because teams are going to keep going at him because who else of that team are you going to go at to get a trigger or to get a double team? So it's not like he's an awful defender. He's just the worst defender on that roster.
You know, there's something else that the Lakers have an uphill battle with, and that's this schedule, right? The next 4 games on the road, and then on the back end of that, it's Houston and Golden State, and they're fighting for position out west. Zeke, what do you make of this schedule that they have at Orlando, at Indy, at Chicago, at Memphis? Remember, that's a Chicago team that just put up 146.
You know what? It is a bear of a schedule because even the teams that we used to think aren't going to be playing well, they're fighting for playoff positions. Like when you talk about Chicago, right? I mean, they're in the thick of it for a play-in. And, 8 or 12 on the road, with being tied out in the West, the Lakers are looking for, okay, playoff position. What team do we match up best against? But now you don't have the luxury to do that. You don't have the luxury to say, we want to play against a Memphis or we want to play against a Golden State. And right now, the way it's looking, right, you're a game behind Denver, right? But you're sitting in that 4 or 5 spot, right? And you're looking at Memphis. And Memphis is going to be a tough out. But, if you jump up to 3, you're looking at Golden State. You don't want to mess with Steph Curry right now in that group. And, Houston could slide back and you can jump to 2. But guess what? If you jump to 2, you could possibly hit Minnesota or the Clippers. So it is, for the Lakers, I really think these last couple of games, they got to figure out, themselves. And as Channing was talking about Luka, unfortunately, Luka has the reputation of being a weak defender. So they're going to go at him every night. So these games, they can learn how to, as Channing said, maybe hide Luka. But if you can't hide him, how do we help him? Yeah. And That's what these next 12 games will be about.
You know, Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, the Orlando Magic probably wish they had this guy back